for this university that sits high on a hill. And know this, when the story is told about Johnson C. Smith University in its transformative movement, that story will be told that Johnson C. Smith was able to go through this turning point experience because the Duke Endowment said, "We believe." Folk, Johnson C. Smith will be the leading institution in the country. I know there are the Harvards and the Dukes and the Yales, but you know what? We have a blue ocean that's waiting for Johnson C. Smith University, and the Duke Endowment has made it possible for us to sail. Thank you. Thank you, Duke Endowment. Thank you, faculty, staff, students, trustees, alumni, community leaders, for making it possible for us to have this day as a pivotal turning point experience toward greatness. I got the check.
Thank you again. That's a great birthday gift, Dr. Carter.
It sure is.
It's his birthday. Yeah, it's his birthday. So we want to continue with the program and show you really what, again, this is all about. With the support of the Duke Endowment and all of you, we've been able to we're going to share a story about a student here at Johnson C. Smith. And if you could go ahead and roll that video. We've got a great partnership with Snyder's Lance, and we've got Kevin Henry, who is the Senior Vice President HR Director, who's also chairing our Board of Visitors. If you could please stand, they're sharing their talents and their treasures with us. Mr. Sid Levy. Sid is Community Affairs for Snyder's Lance. So glad to have him here. And as soon as we run the video, Jamil Sims is going to come up and introduce Mr. Dave Singer. Okay, thanks.
University. Originally from Marion, Ohio. The reason I came to Johnson C. Smith is, to be honest, my mother stayed down the street, so I seen the Johnson C. Smith campus, and I really heard good things about their adults, so I decided to take a chance on leading them to get the internship and possibly make a career out of my major. I didn't even really think about marketing until I got to Johnson C. Smith because I did the concentration. And I feel like what I contribute to a marketing major or a marketing field, I feel like it would have been for me in the future. I earned a scholarship for Snyder's Lance due to my GPA, and I ended up talking to Mr. Kevin Henry at the table during a luncheon.
Hi, I'm Kevin Henry, Chief Human Resources Officer with Snyder's Lance Incorporated. It was an event here at Johnson C. Smith University about a year ago. I had the good fortune of sitting at the same table as Jimmy after hearing his story and just being so impressed with his energy and his drive and his interest and commitment to investing in his future. I made an offer on the spot.
Mr. Henry, you seem like someone who really was to help me. He put me in a great position to basically be in a lot of meetings, to see a lot of things hands-on. He's offered me a real good experience here, and even a spirit of task or something. So it's going to help me out a lot.
he just struck me as a young man of great personal foundation, high character, high confidence, and again, most importantly, high commitment. Someone who was going to be willing to do what needed to be done in order to invest in themselves.
Being in the corporate environment is very different. It's something that I really thought I would be able to experience. Everyone in my hands is professional, very respectful. Basically, grown individuals. I myself, I'm 20 years old, but these are actually grown professionals that have been doing something in their field for years, even longer than I've been alive, possibly. So it's been really beautiful.
There's a lot of good stuff in here that we really appreciate his efforts, and I'll turn it over to you.
First I'll say good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I know you guys are probably busy. I learned that I needed to learn life. That's one of the main things. I had to learn how to be very responsive in everything that I do. Be very assertive in this environment, even though it's a corporate environment, certain time and everything, you still have to be assertive, you have to make it angry. No matter what kind of atmosphere it is, whether it's on the lunch or walking down the hallway, I know how to basically approach it with another professional. So me and myself, I have fun. And that's really how we are.
Hello, my name is Dr. Helen Caldwell. I'm the Dean of the College of Professional Studies here at Johnson C. Smith University. Our mission relates totally to preparing our students to be the best they can be. And learning outside of the classroom is significant for students. That learning outside of the classroom comes certainly through partnerships. So the businesses and corporations that partner with us, with our students in their educational areas, enhance what they learn. When they're ready to move into the internship programs, into those partnerships, the students have shown maturity. They show polish. They show a need to excel. And I think a lot of that comes from the partners. It comes from those individuals who are willing to be the role models and to give to our students outside the classroom.
I'd like to thank you guys, members of the team member, taking time out to come see this performance from the student from Johnson C. Smith, and I appreciate your time. My dream is to get an actual job, like a career, where I'm getting paid for a salary, not just an hourly pay at a part-time job or anything. And the marketing is a pretty wide field, so I know there's a lot of different routes I can take. So I just hope the route that I do take will lead me to a career.
It's been just a terrific lesson, personally and professionally, to be able to activate all of this potential within Jameel, and to be able to use this platform of our great company, Endowment Incorporated, to be able to do that. The opportunity here to really make a difference in this young man's life has just been so rewarding. It's been very, very, very special. And just feel very honored and humbled to be a part of it.
Good afternoon. Can y'all hear me in the back? Okay, all right. Good afternoon. As you know, I'm Jamil Sims, a junior marketing major, and I'm proud to announce Snyder's-Lance. I'm proud to be a Snyder's-Lance scholar and intern. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. David Vincent Singer, CEO of Snyder's-Lance Incorporated. Mr. Singer served as the president and chief executive officer of Lance from 2005 until the merger with Snyder's in 2010. Prior to joining Lance, he served as the executive vice president and chief financial officer of Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated here in Charlotte from 2001 until 2005, and vice president and chief financial officer of Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated from 1986 until 2001. He was named to the board of directors of Flowers Foods Incorporated in 2010 and also has served on Snyder's-Lance board of directors since 2003. Mr. Singer is very active in the Charlotte community, serving as the chairman of the Board of Advisors of the McCall School of Business, a past chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Charlotte Latin School, and has served on various other boards. He holds an MBA and a Bachelor of Science degree in marketing, both from the Pennsylvania State University. Please help me welcome to Johnson C. Smith University, Mr. David Vincent Singer, CEO of Snyder's Lance Incorporated.
As you can see, I'm not that close to the bar. Thank you. Great. Well, thanks. It's a real honor to be here, especially on such a momentous day in the history of the university. I am just really honored to be part of this program and really proud of everything that's happened, and I can just see where this institution's heading. It's very impressive, and really happy to have Kevin Henry involved, as well as Sid. And again, thanks for letting us come. What I'd like to do is just give a quick review of some things, and you heard about my background, so I won't spend much time on that, but I want to talk a little bit about the Lance journey. I've been involved in Lance since 2003, but the CEO since 2005. It's now Snyder's Lance Incorporated. I have LNCE up there, but that's the ticker symbol. It's a public company. And we'll talk a little bit about the journey we've been through. And then I want to talk about a personal leadership lesson. And I think what you'll see is it's two different ways to define leadership. One is more of a practical, hands-on, and leading an organization. And the other is really more about changing yourself and learning about how to fill a space that leadership really involves. You heard about my educational background, but I grew up in a small town. It was called Northumberland, Pennsylvania. It's near Bucknell University, if you've ever heard of it. About 2,500 people in the town, so I'm very small town based. I went to Penn State University, that was 10 or 20 times larger, and then I went on to Pittsburgh for a while, and that was another 10 or 20 times larger. Worked at a bank for a while, Mellon Bank in Pittsburgh. Moved to moved to Atlanta with the bank to open an office, and then got involved in Coca-Cola bottling financing. There were Coke bottlers were consolidating back in the late 70s and early 80s, and it was a really good, ripe area for someone to specialize in, and I did that. And after I had done that for a couple of years, one of my large customers was based in Charlotte. It was the Coke bottling company here in Charlotte, and they hired me at about age 30 to be treasurer. And and this was a company that had just gotten relatively large, and in fact, the way they kept score, it was a Fortune 1000 company. They changed the way they keep score now, but I was able to say I was the treasurer of a Fortune 1000 company at age 30. And it really was kind of a right place at the right time. And then, lo and behold, a bunch of things happened, and about a year later, I was chief financial officer. So it was just a good right place at right time, and was able to be involved in the growth of that company through many acquisitions. And my skill set and the position I was in allowed me to participate in financing and negotiating about 25 acquisitions and financing about $1 billion worth of acquisitions. So it was an exciting time to be there, and really enjoyed that. And then I moved on to Lance. And I moved there as a board member in 2003 and became the CEO in 2005. And I want to tell a little bit about that story. And if you take a look at that journey, many people, particularly in the Charlotte area, know Lance. And Lance was a very powerful company from it started in 1913, and it grew to the point where in the 50s and the 60s, it was a very large, growing, prosperous company, continued to grow all the way through the 80s. And by the time we got to the late 80s, it was a very large, powerful company, very profitable. Between about 1990 and about 2000 or so, the company really went into a bit of a spin. It didn't stop growing, its profit margin shrunk, and it was having some problems. So what I've got here shows that between 2001 and 2004, but if you were to draw this line back to 1990, it would be very similar. Very, very little growth, flat sales, profit margins decline, earnings and stock price were going down. And the board had finally decided in 2003 or 4 that they'd lost confidence in management and really decided to look at some strategic alternatives. Should we sell the company? and went through looking at options and decided, no, let's try to find an opportunity to make this company grow. We're going to bring in a new CEO. So the decision was, let's make a CEO change. And I was really honored to have the opportunity to come in as CEO, and that was really about halfway through 2005. So one of the things you do as a CEO is you have to understand what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of the company, and really what should you do to get it to the next level. You have to create a vision, you have to get people aligned behind that vision, but you have to start somewhere. So you have to start with the strengths. So we looked at what the strengths were, and this company, even though it had been flat and hadn't been doing well for a while, had some real strengths. Sandwich crackers, which you're all familiar with, we were #1 in sandwich crackers. Company's much smaller than people thought. In 2004, the business total sales were about $550 million. I think most people would have expected the company to be much larger than that. And Lance Sandwich Crackers, even though they were #1 in the U.S., the total sales were less than $200 million. But we were #1 in market share by a long shot. We also had kettle chip share with Cape Cod potato chips. It was the #1 kettle chip. Again, a pretty small business, about a $65 million business. We also made cookies and crackers for people like Walmart and Kroger and Harris Teeter, where we would make their private label, their brands on the crackers. And that was a larger business, about $200 million. And the other strength we had is we had a really good, solid balance sheet. We weren't in debt. The wolf wasn't at the door. So we started with those strengths. But the other side of this is weaknesses. Now, I don't want to go through all of them, but what you can see is there's a whole lot of them. And so when we really started looking at what we needed to do, we needed to start attacking some of these weaknesses. And there were a whole large laundry list of weaknesses. So if you take a look at where we were, we started moving forward. And the way we moved forward was we leveraged the strengths and we attacked the weaknesses. But the other thing was we were pretty small. If you look at our branded business compared to the major competitors, Frito-Lay, Nabisco, Keebler, the big folks we competed against, we were really little. In fact, one of the things I told our folks was Frito-Lay grows more every year than we are big. And so that's a negative because you're not really large enough to have scale and be important to customers. But on the positive side, you know, you can grow pretty rapidly and they won't miss it. And so we had some opportunities there. So what we really needed to do was get bigger so we really had some scale to really stay in the game and be important to customers. So if you take a look at where the strengths were in 2005 and roll that forward to 2010, well, we leveraged those strengths. We grew our sandwich cracker business by 30%. We grew our Cape Cod business by about 50%. And we grew our private label cookie business by about 50%. Still had a solid balance sheet, but we'd made one large acquisition out of bankruptcy, a company called Tom's, which was very big in convenience stores, and we needed more scale in convenience stores. So you can see that the list of strengths got longer. But the other thing we really had to do was attack weaknesses. So if you take a look at our weaknesses, we had this laundry list. This was in 2005. If you roll forward to 2010, we had knocked a lot of them out. We had changed the culture of a short-term mentality and kind of gotten rid of that. We brought in some talent because we really didn't have a lot of functional management skills. We brought in a supply chain leader, a head of marketing that was much more used to what more best practices. The history at Lance was to promote from within. Not a lot of folks had come from outside for a very long period of time, which is good in some cases, and it's good for your people. But on the other hand, when the world changes and you're not quite staying up with the changes in the world, it's not good. So we